Thematical overview: what pedagogical practices are being used by teachers in formal and informal classrooms in developing countries. Overview and aims. Studies were not evaluated at the stage for their quality but for what they would tell us about research into the pedagogic practices being employed in developing countries. The account given of these papers should therefore not be taken as an endorsement of the findings. However, taking an inclusive approach to the studies considered, particularly with regards to methods, this thematic overview enables the review to convey a fuller picture of the topic than if he had it relied only on the comparatively narrow coverage of those qualifying for in-depth interview. Screening, inclusion, exclusion criteria for thematic overview must have been published after 2000. These days limits were applied to ensure that the included literature was relevant to contemporary realities, must contain some elements of new findings, theory, or a synthesis of existing research. This criterion was applied in order to exclude publications such as a book reviews or a textbook which might meet the other criteria but add nothing to the research they summarize. Must focus significantly on a low or a middle income country sitting or a setting. Must focus on primary, secondary or senior school levels of education either directly or indirectly. Must focus significantly on pedagogical practices, that is actually teaching practices taking place between an educator and learner in an educational setting. Pedagogy. Following the conceptual framework, this section discussing the finding on pedagogy under four main headings: pedagogical approach, pedagogical as practice, as ideas, and equity. Pedagogy and equity. Pedagogical approaches. The three pedagogical terms most commonly used in the studies to describe or promote specific approaches were learner or student-centered, child-centered, and activity-based learning. However, the spread of these terms varied by region, with approaches reported as student-centered dominating in sub-Saharan Africa, whilst activity-based, student-centered, and child-centered approaches were distributed more evenly in structured pedagogy and direct instruction. Include guided practice is advocated by some researchers who argue that self-discovery as seen in more child-centered practices can lead to misinterpretation which take time to be corrected and may create a cognitive overload and overburden children's and teachers' working memory. Pedagogy as practice. The number of studies claiming positive finding in terms of pedagogical practices. This may partly reflective the fact that the author reporting the intervention had frequently been involved in implementing them, as well as possible publication bias towards publishing positive finding in preference to negative ones. The term used to describe overall approaches such as student-centered and constructivity are used loosely, and as in the examples below on active student-learner-centered pedagogy, they appear very similar. The practices and uses highlighted in the following discussion are largely representative of primary and upper primary levels. Students working with various objects individually and in groups, solving problems and exploring spaces other than the classroom. Students working in pairs or small group in order to make meaning of the lesson, supported by the teacher's skill in eliciting information, asking questions and following up. Studies that reported positively and practices labeled as students learner center frequently characterized Examples and question drawing on students, problem solving on higher order thinking skill, instructional aid, good relationship and interaction between teachers and students, pair and group work. A common discourse for reporting on ineffective pedagogical practices across the studies involved in the term of teacher-centered, dominated, directed, ritualized and authorization, all carrying negative connotation. These practices were often further described as being over-reliant or transmission of knowledge recalled, rote learning, memorization, repetition, recitation, copying from the board. Pedagogy as ideas. As argued in this section, pedagogy compares the teachers do in the classroom but also their ideas, knowledge and attitudes in relation to the learner, the teaching and learning process and the curriculum. A total of 123 studies reported some form of positive finding in terms of teachers' ideas and knowledge. Four main themes emerged from the studies focusing on primary level education. First study reported that teachers had changed their attitude as the result of training or intervention. This could be inclusion of marginalized groups. Teachers at secondary level were also reported as having increased enthusiasm, knowledge and confidence as a result of effective interventions. For example, confidence in ICT skill while identified teachers improvement and confidence in English language knowledge and skill. Three other studies claimed that teachers had gained better knowledge and their learners and were more able to review students' learning as linked to their teaching and teacher learning. Kroll found that teachers can have a sense of themselves as competent classroom performers and educational professionals without necessarily having a strong sense of efficiency with regard to pupils' outcomes. Five main themes emerged from studies reporting some form of negative finding in terms of teachers' ideas and knowledge. The first and largest group highlighted teachers' lack of subject knowledge as a key problem. Some looked at the generally low levels of academic achievement of potential teachers. Others focused on poor content knowledge, especially in language and mathematics. And number addressed weakness in new curriculum subjects as environmental education. The second theme was that of resistance to change, and this was various attributed to teachers' ingrained belief, the fear of loss of authority, or difficulty in letting go in order to students to learn more independently. The final two themes are related to key issues of equity in relation to teachers' perceptions. Several studies highlighted a barrier to change being teachers' deflate view of their students, especially if their students were poor, rural or disabled. Teachers' negative attitudes towards students with disabilities came up several times across a range of settings. For example, Amur in the Middle East. Further studies found that teachers' culture construction of students from lower caste and understanding of gender relation remained unaltered. The fifth and the final theme is that of language of instruction, which is instructionally linked to pedagogy and curriculum, and several studies here well-listed for not for having language as a main focus highlighted the problem of teachers and students when the language of instruction is not a familiar language. Pedagogy and equity. Around one-third of the studies reported an intervention or reforms with respect to equity. Studies in sub-Africa were far more likely to include a focus on gender, whereas in every other religion studies were as likely or more likely to report on issues of rural children and low social economic status. However, the expectation of adaptation, the culture, curriculum, creating resources and planning different types of tasks and lists can place an additional burden of teachers if they are not given corresponding support and training. Further reasons for the lack of success in effectively including disabled children included the over-reliance on whole class and remote learning teaching method, lack of resources, and the negative backwards effect of high-stakes examination. Curriculum. In total, 101 studies focused on curriculum, though the discussion between curriculum and pedagogy was often blurred, given that in day-to-day classroom interaction, curriculum and pedagogy mutually impact on one another. In terms of models, curricular change in almost all cases was to replace content-driven curricula by what could be described as process and objective-driven curricula. This shift was designed to create knowledge that could be applied rather than just reproduced and that was relevant to learners, though different terminology in different countries gave different emphases to this. The success of curricular reform and initiatives was found to be influenced by the degree of consultation and involvement that took place. Some studies argued that teacher involvement in curriculum planning had not occurred, leaving teachers professionally disempowered by a top-down process and hampered by a lack of understanding of the reform's intentions and the reforms themselves missing a grounding in the reality of the classroom. While acknowledging the desirability of teachers' involvement in curriculum planning, Scrins 2004 argues that in many low and middle income countries, teachers need more structured guidance on how to teach. Localized or indigenous curricula seek relevance to learners through decentralized the curriculum to enabling inclusion of activities and knowledge that are seen as useful and appropriate to the lives of the particular groups of children in particular. A similar approach of local adaptation of curriculum is seen in the Colombian program or activity-based curricula in India and Africa. Adapting to the curriculum to the local condition, partly by reducing the scope, is seen in the associated curricula such as School for Life. Teacher education. 54 studies looked primarily at teacher education, the majority of which were from sub-Saharan Africa. This section presents the finding under three main headings: IEE, CPD, and training and trained teachers. Initial teachers education, around 40% of the studies were on ITE. The conceptual framework highlighted the interconnection nature of pedagogy, curriculum, and ITE. However, several studies described an outdated form of ITE as being misaligned to the school curriculum and as overly theoretical and distanced from actual school context. A number of studies cite the theoretical and distanced from actual school context. A number of studies cite the omission of newer curriculum subjects such as health, environment, and peace education, the IE curriculum, and others state that the needs of rural and multi-grade school are overlooked. Teacher education continued to the use of lectures, question, answer, and basic group work rather than the pedagogical approach promoted in schools. While the unguided and unsupervised practicum training experience in the school remained case of sink or swim for them. Training and qualified teachers. Orey et al. 2030 found that the most effective intervention to train large number of the unqualified teachers remaining in post involving varying combinations of face-to-face workshops, classroom support, and self-study, and in school and cluster support. However, they warned the enhancing teachers' subject knowledge, particularly mathematics, remains more challenging in these ways, with written exams problematic as they provide so evidence of actual changes in practice. By contrast, programs such as ABL, G and SALA and School for Life were more successful. They provided formal education for marginalized students and trained their unqualified local teachers over 3 weeks. Summary of the thematic overview. Constructivism was the most frequently cited theory of underpinning pedagogy, with active learning and more student-centered practices cited as the most promoted pedagogies in the national reforms and interventions. Practices described as student-centered included drawing on examples from the student's background, problem solving, use of TLMS, good interaction and relationship between student and teacher, and the use of pair and group work. These practices were more often seen in secondary school, possibly because of the smaller class size. But here they were also constrained by high-stakes examination. A common discourse used in reporting ineffective pedagogy such as teacher-centered or rote learning was applied in general terms and may not accurately describe the kind of strategy that were taking place, possibly presenting a more deflecting picture than necessary. In the ideal form, the promoted pedagogies matched Bernstein's 1975 competence model. However, in practice, a range of contextual or cultural or material constraints militated against teachers implementing them in the desired ways. Other ways barriers were related to pedagogy as ideas where teachers' lack of subject knowledge was a key problem, specifically in language and mathematics as well as in new curriculum subjects such as environmental education. A second problem was teacher resisting to change attributed to ingrained cultural beliefs or difficulties in letting go in order to students to learn more independently. There was also a superficial or a narrow implementation of a teaching and learning principle or curriculum. Teachers' defeated view of their student was seen as a barrier. Overall, the evidence of the effectiveness of learner-centered pedagogy is mixed, although the number of studies reporting positive findings slightly outnumbers those reporting negative findings. Recent curriculum models suggest a shift from content-driven curricula to outcomes and competency-based and thematical and integrated curricula, which are more aligned to the promoted pedagogies. These reforms are, however, not always successful in meeting their goals. They can be overloaded, fragmented, exclusive, and irrelevant. Without realistic support and scaffolding for learning, teachers are likely to implement the curriculum only partially and default to traditional method for much classroom activity. A few studies also reported an localized and associated curricula. Attempts to indigenous or localized curricula for greater relevance have met with positive and negative outcomes. Teachers are often not consulted in curriculum design equally. Parents may not accept the assumption of curriculum, posing a challenge for teachers attempting to implement it. There is a frequent mismatch between curriculum aims and models of assessment, which produce a contradiction in reforms. Teacher education was reported as both a facilitator and a barrier to achieving the implementation of promoted pedagogies. Traditional front-loaded ITE, whereby trainees learn content and method in residential settings prior to the practicum in school, looks outdated in comparison to the field-based models of CPD, which more successfully integrated theory with the teachers' actually classroom practice. ICT offers the potential to develop creative pedagogy, particularly in terms of providing richer learning materials. Short intensive training course for unqualified teachers have the kind of follow-up support that is missing it in ITE. There are mixed results, however, for CPD programs. Many studies found that teachers had changed their attitudes or adopted more positive attitude as the result of training or interventions and had developed into the more critical reflective professionals. However, the evidence on the impact of training and pedagogy practice was only partially captured in most studies, as they failed to attempt a holistic view of pedagogy measuring changes in teachers' attitude and beliefs. their knowledge and their practices in the single study. Furthermore, with few exceptions, the reviewed literature seldom measured student outcome as an indicator of the success of pedagogy, curricula, or teacher education intervention or reforms.